Thank you, Rear Admiral Wilson, at the end of the room. Thank you very much for your wonderful speech. Let's give him another round of applause. And at this time, I'll ask Lieutenant Colonel Chuck Waco of the U.S. Army Manpower and Forces Division and Dr. Kevin Loy of the U.S. Army Manpower Analysis Agency to both come up, and they will give the instructions for the Rosenthal student competition. Gentlemen.
All right, does the technology, oh, it works. Ha. All right, real quick, I'm Chuck Waco, and this is my able and compassionate teammate, Kevin Loy. He and I have worked together for a bunch of years. You know, Moores puts you in a situation where you get to see how people work when they're under pressure, when they're doing things, when they're out and about. And Kevin and I have had, I don't know, 4 or 5 different opportunities in different ways. It's been a chance for me to learn that he is a good guy who can be counted on, and he has learned that I am an unpredictable person that you always kind of have to watch. So today we're going to transition to the Rosenthal competition. And what I want to do, just briefly here, is I want to talk about the most important person in the room. Right? Who's the most important person in the room? Not me. My God, I'm almost at the end of my career. The most important person in the room is you. Right? Like, I look out and I see these faces and I'm like, that guy right there is important. And you know why he's important? Is because real soon we're going to be looking to you. We're going to be counting on you. But before we talk about you, I want to talk a little bit about the Rosenthal competition and Rick Rosenthal himself. So I don't know what happens if we go to the next slide. All right, so this is supposed to be an intercollegiate competition of quick turn analysis for student presentations, right? Quick turn analysis. So actually, can we get the next piece of this? Yeah. So this is sort of a product of a gentleman by the name of Rick Rosenthal, who unfortunately passed away back in 2003. But he was a staunch supporter of the notion that analysts don't just sit around and plug things into models, but they're really out there and they're engaged in a practical way, helping leaders make decisions, right? In a real world where they're under real pressure, real time pressure. So we're gonna do an exercise that celebrates that, all right? But one thing, oh, you guys can look, you can see the sort of the bio for him, right? And I don't know, he did some really interesting and important things. But last night we had dinner with some of the old Mooresians, right? And there's nothing more interesting than to wait until some guy from Moores, who's been in Moores for like 15 years, gets a couple beers in him, and you say, what was Rick Rosenthal really like, right? And then we get to learn things that aren't in the bio, but are really important. And that is, this is the one that really struck me. They said, he was uncompromising, right? Actually, they didn't say that. They used a little bit more florid language, but he was uncompromising. And that's such an important concept to understand, because the place that you are going, the thing that we are preparing you to do, is to work with people who are going to be uncompromising, because the circumstances they find themselves in are uncompromising. That's why you are so important. Now, I would so love to spend, I don't know, months, a year, helping grow you. But really, I got like a couple of hours, right? So the goal here with the Rosenthal competition is maybe not to change you, to make you that rear admiral that you're going to be, but our goal is to give you maybe some new perspective, maybe a new way of looking at how you interact with other analysts. Maybe you walk away with an experience where you say, how could I have done this better, right? Because this is a nice, safe environment where we can do what Rick did, is face uncompromising challenges in a safe and friendly environment. because there's some important people who really, really need you to do some important work. All right? Right? Like I always think of this one, like your mom, she really expects you to do a good job, right? She knows you work at the Pentagon, and she says, I expect good work out of my kid. But there's this other person that's counting on you, and it always helps to think about this person. And this is the 6th grader, right? So I figure about 6th grade kid who's going to be in the Army or the Navy or the Air Force or Marines in about 10 or 15 years. And you're going to be the person who says to the boss, we're going to do this, and this is going to save lives. And the life that you're saving is that 6th grader's. He's counting on you. So, today what we're going to do is we're going to have an exercise. We're going to help as all of us proceed on our path to become more mature and sophisticated analysts. And the first step in that is one of the most difficult tasks, especially for an Army officer, and that is land navigation. We are going to try to make it as a group to the room where we're going to start off the Rosenthal competition. All right? So the key trick to this is to follow Liz. Liz is one of our full-time staff workers with Moores, and she's absolutely fabulous. Where is Liz? Can we point to Liz? She's probably just outside that door because she said she'd be just outside that door. You see Kevin. You remember how I said Kevin could be counted on all the time? Look at him. Kevin, hold your hand up. All right, just stand right there. You're going to follow Kevin and Liz. Liz is now standing beside him. You're going to follow them down to the Women's Glee Club. You see how this is so hard for Army guys, right? You're going to follow them down to the Army Glee Club, and we're going to leave everybody who does not get to participate in the Rosenthal competition to kind of muddle through while we go have one of the best times that you can possibly have at a Moores event. All right, so let's get going.